Wanted to do a walk in Mexico City and talk about whether I think it's dangerous, specifically at night in Mexico. I haven't been to 6 or 7 different cities all around the state. I feel safer, for sure, walking at night in Mexico than I do in the major U.S. cities, and having lived there in many of them. So places in Honolulu, D.C., New York City, Chicago, L.A. I've spent a good amount of time in all of those. And I feel safer in Mexico, and that is my perception. I'm going to do a few more walks like this in general, and right now we're south of the Condesa neighborhood, so Hippodromo, I think, and that's great. And I want to comment about the weather in Mexico. It's probably my second favorite weather in the world after Hawaii. Here it's about 55 to 85 year-round, because of the elevation, and what's really nice about that is you can wear jeans and a button down or sandals and shorts and pretty much feel pretty nice 24/7. So that's awesome. And if you look at this, I think there was a report published, I read it a couple years ago, the 100 safest cities in the world. There was only one city in the US on it, Salt Lake City. It was like 70th or something. And Merida, Mexico, which I spent some time in, was 21st safest city in the world. So go figure. As far as the lifestyle here, I think why Mexico City is livable and why a lot of expats are moving here, but also why people are getting a second residency, second citizenship here, is because of the different lifestyles you can have in Mexico City, and owing to the fact of basically being able to walk everywhere. You don't need a car. Many of the things that you have to deal with in New York, like going across the bridges and the tolls and all that hassle, is absent here. You can take an Uber $5 or $6 for $2 or less, pretty much anywhere. So that's what kind of drew me here. And having been mostly to Asia and not so much to Latin America, Mexico City I think is accessible for many people. And I do think you need Spanish here. Obviously, if you're going to live here long term, there's plenty of people that live in these places for 10 years and don't speak any Spanish. I think you're doing yourself a disservice. The lifestyle and the social and dating environment is similar to places in Latin America. So nothing like you see in the US. I see a lot of kind of resentment towards each other, and like every time as more time passes in the US, I'm seeing super entitled to something. There's a lot of divisiveness, and I don't see it as much here. And granted, I'm not native in the language, but I think the Latin America social family value system is not going to lend itself towards that. And I still love the U.S. for many things, but coupled with the fact that you can probably live in Mexico, and this is a general statement, for a third to a half of your cost of living in the U.S. for this same lifestyle, is just a bonus. So if Mexico City was the same price as, let's say, D.C. or Honolulu, I would probably still choose Mexico City as a place to stay, let's say in your 30s or 40s especially. Some people are going to want, if they're older, maybe one of the coastal cities. But that's my experience. I'm going to be sharing more about basically travel and what we can learn, and really why I think everyone should travel, and the benefit we get as people, specifically traveling. So there will be more videos. This is kind of just like a walk and talk, but there will be more focused videos on these kind of topics.